you know, I am here to do the pitch. It takes a shiksa to do the pitch. As you can tell, I speak good Yiddish. What we just watched was a very moving video. I know it was moving a lot for a lot of you, but it was especially moving for me because I was that child. I was those children that ran to the bomb shelter, that still lives with PTSD. I was that child. And my life could have gone in two different directions. I could be who I am today, or I could have been a messed up child who's not going to get anywhere in life. But it was for the kindness, generosity, and support of great women leaders in my life, and also my life in Israel, where I felt as a woman I can be all I can be, that I can overcome all challenges as long as I have people around me who love me and who made me believe in who I am. I lived in a dire situation where I never thought or knew I could ever even leave or go to America. I had no concept what it's like to live a normal life, just like these children. It took people that I did not know who sent in their support. It took women who took me under their wings, like my surrogate mothers, to make me believe that I can overcome these challenges and be all I can be. And that influence came strictly from Israel and the Jewish people. I want you to know that. I am who I am today because people like you supported in the past and made the lives of children like these children take a different turn to become leaders instead of victims, to become survivors, strong people. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We want to make sure that not only these children survive, but they survive to become very strong members of society. Now that we have built a state, the state of Israel, now let's build a nation. Let's build a strong nation made out of people. The children are our future. People say to me, I heard on the video earlier, somebody said, Israel is our insurance policy. And it is. And I'm going to share with you a story that a friend of mine shared with me. He was a Hungarian Jew, and he lives in New York. He said to me, Brigitte, this is why I support Israel. He said, America is my wife, but Israel is my mother. If America ever throws me out on the street, I can go home to my mother. So you support Israel because no matter what happens to Jews worldwide, you know you can always count on your home where your mother Israel awaits you with open arms and awaits your children. We ensure the future for our children and grandchildren with our actions. As you can see, I am wearing a Lion of David because I am a lion. I am a member of all these lions from all over the world who stepped up their commitment and said, I will stand with Israel, not only with my words, but also with my action. As a child, my father taught me a very important lesson. My parents always said to me, Brigitte, don't tell people how you feel. Show them how you feel with your actions. And I never forgot that. When my parents died, I'm an only child to my parents. I lost both my parents. I was 22 years old when I became an orphan, and I had no one in the world. I buried both my children in Israel. Both my parents are buried in Israel on Mount Zion with Oskar Schindler, where Oskar Schindler was later laid. And the reason why I buried my parents in Israel, because I wanted to make sure that my children yet unborn will always be drawn to Israel and not to the Arabic world in case I die while they are very young. If you have ever visited Oskar Schindler's grave in Jerusalem, you have walked by my parents' grave in order to get to his. Their grave is on the right-hand side of the steps going down to his grave, the first grave on the right-hand side. That's called voting with your actions, not just with your words. When I became a lion, I voted with my actions my support for the state of Israel. When I buried my parents in Israel, I voted with my actions, so my children will always know where my loyalty lies and will always stand with Israel. So today I am appealing to your generosity, to give as generously as you can, to ensure the future of your children, of your grandchildren, of children, Jewish children to come from generation to generation. So the state of Israel will always survive. So the children of Israel will always lead. So the state of Israel will always give the world gift after gift after gift that will not only ensure a great life for Jewish people, but a great life for people worldwide. Haley will go through the detail as to the pledge cards on your table. I appeal to you from the bottom of my heart to give as much as you can give. I am honored to have had this opportunity to stand before you here today. Thank you.
Brigitte, maybe stay here because we will be doing a Q&A very shortly with Brigitte if you had any questions. But can I please ask the table captains to remove the pledge envelopes from the centrepiece box and distribute to your guests. We will give you a few moments to fill in your donations. Please note there is a shopping list on the pledge form which may help guide your contribution. We thank you in advance for supporting Israel's most valuable asset, our people. A UIA staff member will come to collect these from you shortly, and we will be back in a few moments for some discussion with Brigitte. Can the guests please sit down so that I can see who would like to ask Brigitte a question?
Okay, there are people here.
Ladies, please, can I have some quiet? Thank you. We're very lucky to have Brigitte here, and I want to give as many of you the opportunity to ask her a question. So please be quiet. Okay.
Hi, Brigitte. I'm here. Hi. Hi, Brigitte. Your speech was very moving, so thank you very much, and thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Now, having said that, given the atmosphere in the world and the criticism thrown at Israel, especially by the Palestinian authorities, other bodies in the world, not seeing the real thing, how do you address it and what do you tell them?
Great question, and I'm going to give you a great answer because a part of your question was, I heard that there was somebody on Israeli television yesterday who happened to be Jewish talking about why there is a rise of anti-Semitism around the world. Are we quiet? Okay. Talking about why the rise of anti-Semitism around the world is happening because Israel is in Gaza, because of the occupation. And the reason why people like her can get away with such lies is because they do not know their history. The Palestinian hated the Jews, and the PLO was founded in 1964, 3 years before Israel took Gaza. In 1964, Gaza was Egypt, in the hands of Egypt, and the West Bank was in Jordan. So in 1964, the PLO was founded to basically eradicate Israel as we know it today without the supposedly occupied territories. So their hatred for Israel goes so far back that the occupation has nothing to do with why the Palestinians hate Israel. And that's the truth. And that's the truth that many parents need to learn and teach their children. So when people ask you, well, of course they hate us because of the occupation, you tell them baloney. They hated us before we ever were in Gaza, nor the West Bank. They hated us simply because the little sliver of Israel prior to 1967, and that's why they launched the PLO.
Hi, Brigitte.
Hi.
Somebody sent me an email with an attachment of yours, and since then I've been a Brigitte groupie, and I send it to all my friends.
Thank you.
One question that comes to mind is, has your life ever been at risk, given that you're so outspoken, and do you fear for your safety?
Yes, my life has been at risk, and I have had many death threats. I actually don't stay in hotels under my name. I don't even own my home. I mean, my home is set up with a company, within a company, within another company. I have 3 layers of companies who own my house before they even get to my name. Nobody knows where I live. Try just to do certain security precautions. I had to move 3 times in a year and a half, about 2 years ago, just to be able to dodge a major, major death threat around me and against me. But, and obviously, as you can see here today, we have security. But all that does not stop me from speaking the truth. Because if not now, then when? If not I, then who? And I believe this is the time when courage is so important and so needed throughout the world, and when we need to throw political correctness in the garbage where it belongs and start speaking the truth. And I'm just going to elaborate on one word. Courage is so important. You know, there's a saying that goes, squeaky wheel gets the oil. I do not know if you have that in Australia, which means those who speak louder get the attention. The problem with us, the Jewish community, and those who support the Jewish community, I consider myself an honorary Jew. Those who support, thank you, Israel and the Jewish community, the problem is they don't speak out. They want to hide under the table, not create waves. Let's not upset anybody. Let's not offend anybody. So the Palestinians have rewritten history while Israel failed miserably in the PR department. And that's why you need to be courageous when you speak up in defense of Israel. Next question. Thank you.
Oh, this is a very cheeky question. Obama, friend or foe?
Definitely not a friend of Israel. That's for sure. You mean Obama, friend of the Palestinians? Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I agree with everything that you said about Islamic fundamentalism. Something that struck me from your talk was the mother who looked at you and said that it's not your fault what your country is doing. So do you not feel that there are some Muslims who it's not their fault what people are doing?
Of course, absolutely. And there's a lot of moderate Muslims in the world who do not want to kill anybody, who do not want to commit terrorism. But the problem that we're dealing with today is radical Islam, and that's what we need to focus on, because the moderate majority are truly irrelevant in this conversation. And when you look at the lessons of history, most Germans were peaceful, but the Nazis drove the agenda, and as a result, dragged the whole world into war. As a result of that war, 60 million people around the world died. Almost 14 million in concentration camps, 6 million were Jews. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. When you look at Russia, for example, most Russians were peaceful. Yet the Russians were able to kill 20 million people. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. When you look at China, for example, most Chinese were peaceful, yet communist China was able to kill 70 million people. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. When you look at Japan, for example, most Japanese were peaceful prior to World War II. But Japan was able to kill 12 million people in Southeast Asia, mostly killed by bayonets and shovels. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. When you look at 9/11 in the United States in 2001, we had 2.3 million Arab Muslims living in America on that day. It took only 19 radicals to bring America down to its knees, destroy the World Trade Center, attack the Pentagon, and kill almost 3,000 Americans on that day. And all those people that I mentioned, all these radicals throughout history, didn't even have nuclear bombs or weapons of mass destruction, biological bombs, etc. Can you imagine what few radicals in Iran who are committed to wiping Israel off the map can do? Can you imagine few radicals from ISIS getting their hands on biological weapons or chemical weapons and what they can do? So yes, even though there are a lot of moderate Muslims in the world today, and of course we do not judge them all, but we must pay attention to the cancer growing through the world today. So it's like having cancer in your body and saying, well, do you blame your hand, which is very healthy, very strong, look at those muscles, for having cancer in your body? Of course I don't blame my hand. My hand is great, my leg is great, my shoulder is great, my hair is perfect. What does this have to do with having cancer that's going to kill me in 4 years anyway? All those pretty things around me are irrelevant as long as I have a cancer growing. And today we must be committed as Western nations to fight evil growing under whatever religion. If Christians were developing nuclear bombs and they want to wipe Israel off the map, I'll be just as passionately speaking up against them to stop them as I am committed to speaking up against Islamic radicals who want to kill, crucify, behead, burn people alive, and want to wipe Israel off the map.
Brigitte, thank you very much for that. I'm another one of your groupies. I'm up here. And my question has been partially answered just now, but I wanted to know, what can we do to make the silent minority into a vocal majority?
A great question. We can work on that. We can find them, like we in the United States. We have identified the moderate heads of Muslim organizations that we work with. As a matter of fact, we have Act for America has a national conference every year. And we have keynote speakers who are Muslims. Actually, some of them even left the Muslim Brotherhood who are keynote speakers at our national conference because we want to give them a voice. I had a national TV show in the United States, and I always had moderate Muslims on my TV show, hoping that their voice will inspire others like them to speak up and to join them. But while we can do that, we cannot leave all our eggs in one basket. We have got to do everything we can to protect ourselves, and Israel is a perfect example. While Israel always reaches out trying to make peace with the Palestinians and the Arabs, Israel never stopped building an Israeli defense forces. Israel never stopped developing weapons. Israel has the strongest army in the Middle East right now, including 200 nuclear bombs. Israel didn't stop trying to protect itself, just counting on the Arabs and the Palestinians to see the light one day and be wonderful, and for the moderates to speak out. So while we can reach out and work with them, we have to be wise in doing everything we can to protect ourselves at the same time. Another question.
Hi, Brigitte. Another groupie.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. I think as we speak, Netanyahu's in America trying to move the hand of your president and sort of stop this potential deal with Iran. Obviously, as a Jew, not an Israeli, but as a Jew in the diaspora, for me that's the biggest concern, because our former greatest ally potentially could lead to the destruction of Israel. For the last 60 years, we've been able to defend ourselves against neighbours who have wanted us obliterated, and obviously with the price, we've lost a lot of young men doing so, but I think now it's becoming real. As Jews in the diaspora, do we have a valid reason to be really concerned because of America and or because of Obama? And if so, is anyone else speaking up to move his hand from signing anything with Iran?
Oh, great question. We are trying everything we can in order to do that. Yes, as Jewish people in the diaspora, you have a great reason to be very, very concerned because Obama is ready to throw Israel under the bus. Obama is ready to sign a deal with Iran, thinking that Iran is just developing nuclear for energy. There is no problem with them having a nuclear bomb. It's like he's not seeing reality. And we also are very concerned because the Obama administration has been infiltrated by members of the Muslim Brotherhood and very shady characters with very extremist links. And that's very concerning to us. So the Republicans in the United States who invited Netanyahu to address both houses of Congress right now are basically, this is their last chance in trying to convince the majority of members of Congress to stop this deal with Iran, because Congress has to approve the deal. And this is our last chance to make sure we stop Congress from approving that deal. And my organization, Act for America, which is now the largest national security grassroots in the United States. We have about 300,000 members, over 900 chapters nationwide. We have our members now calling their elected officials and lobbying to make sure that America does not sign a deal with Iran. So we are working on the federal level, we are working on the state level, doing everything we can. And we thank all of you for your support, those of you who email us from all over the world. Thank you for my groupies in Australia. And we're trying to do the same thing in Australia also with Act for Australia. We have chapters in 11 countries around the world. We want to teach you how to become active politically and influencing policy with your own elected officials and members of parliament. So those of you who are interested in joining and organizing an Act for Australia, please email our website at info@actforamerica.org and let us know that you want to become a chapter leader, and we will share with you, we'll give you a book on how to influence policy, how to organize, so you in Australia as well can do the same thing in influencing policy. I want you to know that in the United States, we at Act for America have passed 37 bills in 19 states in the last 5 years, influencing our government to stand with Israel, support Israel, strong national security laws. And you can do the same thing in your country, and we want to help you how to do it and how to get organized. So those of you who are interested, please email us with that, and we'll help you with answers as well. Other question?
That's all we have time for.
That's all.
Thank you, Brigitte.
Thank you.
Once again, let's thank Brigitte.